Do you think that demonic possession happens as often today as in the past? It seems that Satan has many so convinced that the supernatural doesn't even exist. You mentioned that earlier, that he likely has them where he already wants them and can work in more subtle ways. Thanks, Greg from Vicksburg, Mississippi. So
Yeah.
are we seeing
Yeah.
it, but not in an overt, it's a subtler way because they're already halfway there? What do you think?
Well, actually, Greg, the opposite is the case. We are seeing so many possessions, and not just possessions. We are seeing so many manifestations of demonic activity, what's called infestation, which is the haunting, basically, of a house, not by a ghost or a deceased human spirit, but by a demon. We're seeing so many infestations, so many obsessions, right? So much, and even possessions that now, Pope Francis, and prior to him, Pope Benedict and Pope John Paul II, or St. John Paul II, all of them mandated the need to get exorcists for every single diocese. So pretty much we've gone from almost no exorcists throughout the world to about half the dioceses in the world now have an exorcist or recourse to an official exorcist and somebody who actually has had some training. Now that training is still, being done. We're doing a lot of catch-up work, but the problem is so urgent, it's so bad. The number of manifestations of possession and obsession and infestation are so greatly increased that we really have had to take considerable steps to combat it. And by the way, I think there are whole, books, websites, and television stations just devoted to recounting these stories. There are so many of them. So for all intents and purposes, I know he's still, the devil is still really, really present, in the non-obvious ways, right? I mean, he's got the whole of the culture in so many ways convinced he's not real, that it's just some medieval superstition, but I don't think that really is the case. Common people today, lots of people know, without having any expertise in this, right, not having any clerical orders or anything else, people are aware of how prolifically manifest demons and Satan really are, and because of that, it's becoming less and less likely that he can hide himself from somebody, who doesn't have already a huge set of doubts about it to the contrary. So, I mean, like academics, for example, could easily talk themselves out of belief in a demon, right? That's just,
They can talk themselves in and out of a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many academics do you know have already just lobotomized their own soul? They really do believe that they're just a bunch of atoms and molecules. And these are people with PhDs, and you're looking there and you're going, I can't believe you're not reading a scintilla of evidence, from David Chalmers, from Kurt Gödel, from near-death experiences, from all of these exorcisms that are all over the place. You look at nothing, you only look at this very narrow, conscriptive bunch of beliefs that you have, and you have reduced the world and yourself to a bunch of atoms and molecules. I mean, you almost want to laugh because, of course, here's a person who should know much better, that there are far more errors of omission than commission, and this is the very person who has literally lobotomized their soul, lobotomized themselves from their relationship with God, and even failed to recognize the devil. It'd be tragic. It'd be funny if it weren't so tragic.
Is some of that, Father, a function of when some has a great teaching or great intellect in those things, like many of these people do? Is there a function of pride there that the devil plays on with them to make them want to dismiss the whole idea?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, pride is a huge part of it. I mean, the idea of denying the supernatural, as kind of being this courageous, academically open act, right, and the reduction of the world to the material constituents that we can control and understand, and the abandonment, of everything supernatural as superstition, and the almost equivalence of supernatural with superstition, that is a definite manifestation of pride. And it's a definite, well, either that or profound ignorance. Sometimes there really is pride. Sometimes it's profound ignorance. People, and sometimes really people are cowed into it. I think there are probably some academics who really do believe that there is something akin to real evil, but they're never going to admit it in public. I mean, my gosh, it's not just your academic credentials, but your liberal credentials would be questioned forever if you really admitted it. Right. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think there are a lot of motives, but certainly some of it is pride, some of it is ignorance, some of it is just lack of courage, to be intellectually honest, or to at least admit to the possibility or some openness to a supernatural force. I think, it's a mixture of motives.